Hey everyone, welcome to the Clips channel. Did you know this isn't our main channel? Yeah, you should subscribe over and find our main videos and our streams as well. We also have a podcast that you can find wherever podcasts can be found, so explore the internet. See you there.
Final Fantasy is coming to Magic the Gathering. It was just officially announced, and I was informed by an employee of Wizards of the Coast that follows me on Twitter that they have been trying so hard not to mention it every time they hear on stream that you and I are thinking about getting back into Magic. Because you and I have played a lot of Magic in our past. We are not currently playing a lot of Magic, but just from random conversation on our many streams, it seems like you and I are, we just want a little tip. We just need a little push. We're always it's always in the back of our mind, like, should we get back into Magic? And June 13th of next year, it's looking like we'll have a pretty good argument for jumping in, because there's going to be an official Final Fantasy crossover set. It's going to be a new Universes Beyond set. And it'll be the first. I actually don't know much about Universes Beyond. I'm assuming that that's the moniker assigned to all of the cross intellectual property things that they've been doing in Magic. Is that correct? Do you know if that's correct, Kyle?
I have no idea. I'm going to do that right now.
Because I know you've at least played Arena in the last year, which is 100% more Magic than I've played in the last year.
Yeah, I kind of just wander in and think to myself, is there enough draw mechanics to keep me interested? And then I leave. But
Chad is saying that is a correct assessment of what Universes Beyond is. And apparently this is also notable because this is going to be the first time that a Universes Beyond set is going to be standard legal.
Okay, see, that's the big question to me, right? Because we've had sets like Transformers or the licensed kaiju that sit on top of the current set and take a 6/6 or 8/8 trample and make a King Kong, but it's something else in the base game. It's just a unique art and unique name for the thing.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. And this involves characters across all Final Fantasies. It's not any one specific Final Fantasy. So if you are like an Only 7 fanboy, or whatever one Kefka's from.
4, I think.
I think it's 4.
Yeah.
I think 4 is Kefka. Chat will be 6. Shit on us.
That's fine. I'm sure he's great.
So this looks pretty damn cool to me. I'm kind of hyped about this. I've been looking for an excuse to play Magic again, and this might just do it. This might just do it for me. And I don't know if you are showing the official announcement website or anything right now, but they've shown a decent amount of the art from it, and I think it looks quite nice. There's a lead up here.
I see. Yeah, I see where you're going.
The tone of my voice.
Allow me to put some visuals to this fine lead up that you're doing right now on the official website here. Here we go. Oh, it's even. Yeah. Oh, your lead up is even front and center. Look at that.
Yeah,
look at that going down.
There's honestly there's 2 here, and I have another link in here somewhere. The PC Gamer one I think shows is better for scrolling through the art, because the art's real small. On
I think they're hitting their bases properly.
I mean, Sephiroth getting top billing, that makes sense. Yes.
Yeah, Sephiroth getting top billing. They got lightning here, just like, we're gonna do it, guys. Shut up. It's gonna happen. There's gonna be lightning, and they got the Unicus. So, like, what more do you need? They have a Moogle. Like, it's all here. Everything you need to know about Final Fantasy, it's happening.
Yep. It's good stuff. I was really impressed. Also, I just want to say, you all get me. Thank you so much. My mentions on both Twitter and Blue Sky over the weekend were nothing but people tagging me in the Emmett art. Nothing but people tagging me in the thing that you are currently hovering over right now.
Yeah,
just everybody. And on the Discord. I got another tag today on the Discord. And immediately someone's like, he definitely saw it. I just want you to know, I'm not annoyed at all. I love it. I love that you see Emmett and you think me.
It feels good to
be.
Thank you,
everybody.
It feels good to be a part of something.
Yes, it. Sometimes I'll say a take and I get some flack and I feel misunderstood. When it comes to me and my love for the Final Fantasy XIV character Emmett Selk, I am not misunderstood. I am absolutely 100% crystal clear in how I feel about that character. And I love that is a place that I find myself. I enjoy that. I am a fan. Is Kyle looking forward to Captain Bosch from von Rosenberg of Dalmasca? What is this word soup that Sven just attached $5 to, Kyle?
Well, he could be the main character. He might not be, but he's not the leading man. So it's It's an FF12 thing. You wouldn't get it. You wouldn't get it.
I've played a little FF12.
I'm not sure if you would get it, depending on how deep you got in. But
I remember very little, except not really loving the battle system.
We'll talk about that. We're going to talk about that today. I was very into
the setting, and I want to play more of it. But you know, it was around the time that we were starting to stream Final Fantasy. I'm like, someone might want to watch this at some point. I should probably start.
That is true. Yes, people will want to watch that.
Okay, cool.
People did want to watch it. It was a good time.
So. Yeah. Did you see this before we get into the controversy or potential? I think misplaced controversy is how I would bill it. But we'll get into it. Before we get into it, what was your initial reaction to seeing this shit?
It was entirely based on, oh my god, I get to play Magic the Gathering with Garrett. Let's go. That was like,
hell yes.
I don't have to work hard to sell this. I'm into it. I'm already there. Like I said, for me, I log in every new set, Magic the Gathering Arena. I get in there and I immediately go, do I want to play this? Is this going to be worth my time? And I look up draw. And that's what I do. I put draw in and I see if there's any interesting draw mechanics because I love having bountiful hands. And then
bastard.
Then I usually go, okay, most sets don't have interesting draw mechanics. Let's see what happens if I go low green costs. Ooh, usually nothing there. And I usually leave. Occasionally there's like a cool mechanic like the dungeon sort of thing that happened in the D&D sets. I was all over that. Obviously the D&D set was, flavorful. Congregate, flashback. Like there's a bunch of kind of keywords I look into and see, is this something I really want to do? And right now, Garrett, there is a set called Duskmourn, which is badass. And I really want to pick up these commander decks.
Shit, this looks good.
Yeah, it looks like,
dude, I want to go to our store right now.
So what I'm saying is I'm already interested in Magic.
All right, me too. And some of this art is like so cool, and I like these characters so much that this is the I like in-house Magic lore enough. It's fine. I don't follow it super deep. I've never been bitten by like the collector's bug with Magic, with one exception. It was so in on Magic that when Theros came out, Katie and I were just like, you just want to buy a whole box of boosters and just open it for like no reason. We didn't even play constructed. We both played sealed primarily, but we were just like, we were just so down the rabbit hole, and we'd both just gotten raises from our jobs, so we were feeling like millionaires. We were like, screw it, let's just go get a box. Let's buy our first booster box. We cracked the whole thing, and I don't think I've ever had a more euphoric experience with paper. Got an Elspeth planeswalker, a couple other planeswalkers I was very excited about, but I digress. Typically, I've never really been bitten by Magic from a collector's point of view, whereas when I was into Pokemon cards, it was almost exclusively from a collector's point of view. I just wanted to collect the cards because I liked the Pokemon, because I was a Pokemon fan. And I'm looking at this. I liked this art so much that I realized, oh God, if there's we don't call it holo in Magic, we call it foil. If there's a foil Emmet, I'm gonna have to track it down. Like, it's just, I'm gonna have to find it. Also, the same with the Sephiroth. I know I sometimes speak about 7 with a little bit of disdain in my voice as someone who has never played it, mostly just because I've been cornered by enough 7 only folks that are ravenous about it that I'm just, I get it. I get that a lot of people like it and that this is the peak Final Fantasy for a lot of people. And I don't have much to add beyond that point. I'm not dismissive because I actively dislike it. I'm dismissive because of like, I've heard it all before. I'm good. I don't need to relitigate how much other folks love this. All of that being said, I never really ever get into this. I do think Sephiroth is a wicked rad looking character. I'm a big fan of big long swords and long hair and white hair and all of that. And I think the Sephiroth illustration is rad, and I must also find this. And it's not going to be the same if I just buy it on a site. I want to crack it out of a pack. I haven't had this experience with cards in a while. I'm probably going to go down that road with this. I'm just telling you right now, expect some pack opening streams in my future on this channel. Kyle, if you'd like to join for those, be my guest.
Cost effective. I am a frugal man. We go to a store, we do a draft event, and that's how you get the good stuff you actually want and walk away with it. Yeah.
Do we put GoPros on our hats and record it for...
I'm sure that would be quite the ordeal, because then the person you're dueling would probably have to agree to it because it's their face and stuff on the internet.
Not if you just pointed at your board.
If you just point at the board, yeah, that could work out. I mean, that or we collectively, this is planning on air, and this is not planning on air. I would not plan this on air, ever. But, we could just say we're in Orlando and go to a store and make it their problem, and we show up and...
we have a friend who owns multiple game stores in Orlando. We could probably we could probably get permission.
That would be interesting. That's interesting. Yeah.
Just saying, not voluntelling my friend.
No, but
or anything.
But to your point here, like the Emmett art is so rich with mechanical bullshit that I think they've really encapsulated the character while still making it magic. And that art in particular, of all the ones I've seen so far, has made me go, yes, they're going to do this right. This is going to be interesting.
Yeah. So, but there was a kerfuffle over the weekend, and poor Katie has been sick, so I was more stuck in the house than usual this weekend.
You were reading more kerfuffles than normal?
Usually I love it. I love it when kerfuffles happen on the weekend because I don't see them. I try very hard to go live...
kerfuffle-free.
Real life on weekends because I'm in front of a monitor so much during the week that I just need to get out of the house on the weekend. But I was very, very stuck inside. Also, I'm almost capped on the tomes now that I'm max level and end game and Final Fantasy 14. Kyle, you're gonna need to catch up.
It's called spending $1 million at the shop. I'm gonna be just fine for the immediate future. For the immediate future. I'm just gonna buy some crafting gear. Yeah.
Folks will just like make it for you, right?
Yeah, but it's mine. It's
I know.
It's mine, and I want to participate. And they're always like, "No, thank you." And I'm like, "Well, I want to I don't know, provide a feather for the hat or something." So maybe if I get in touch with someone who can teach me something a little bit about at least what I'm contributing to. Because there's an exchange. For me, I need to spend fake money. I hate sitting on fake money. I'm an intensely saving-oriented, real-life person who doesn't do a lot of weird stuff. But when it comes to my games, my fantasies, and I love playing the paladin if I'm in a tabletop setting, who doesn't give a crap about money. I love just Justinianing all over that table and being like, oh, I don't know what anything costs. It's so much fun. It's such a release for me. I got to spend my gold.
Nice. Well, let's actually talk about the kerfuffle. So, because I was stuck home and I saw it happen in real time, and it is about something that I am prone to being passionate about, sometimes in angry ways. So, Kyle, could you let me know if I start getting too flustered?
Okay. All right. I will set up.
Do you have a sound you could play?
They're all so loud. I need to figure out how to turn them down. But I'll do my best. Yeah. So
just say timeout if you think I need a timeout.
Okay. Yeah. I'll let you. Right. I'll take you down a notch.
All right. Take me down to Paradise Shitty.
Okay.
Where the takes are weak. And yeah.
The girls are pretty, but they're possibly AI generated. That's how it goes. Paradise
Shitty, where the takes are weak and the teeth are many.
The teeth are many. Yeah.
There you go.
It's getting better every day. You got to watch yourself.
Yeah.
So give me the lowdown.
Yeah. So this gets announced. The art that we've been looking at gets shown. You have a tweet up. We are not trying to drag this individual. This is just as much as I can tell, this is the inciting tweet, which if you're listening on audio, I'm going to do my best. The poster went and grabbed the art of Sephiroth that's going to be used as the illustration for the Sephiroth card in this Magic the Gathering set.
Front and center on the website.
Scribbled all over it with things because they believed this art to have been made, at least in part, using generative AI. So some of it just being kind of weird smearing or visual artifacts, and others being like, this part of the costume is wrong, and then like putting it up against other visual examples of Sephiroth and Final Fantasy media, which I gotta say, like, I immediately like started laughing out loud because I've been on the inside of making art for tabletop games, and costumes not being like 100% accurate happens all the time because this type of work doesn't pay enough and it has to be done very quickly. And so, yeah, other things I was like kind of curious. I'm like, oh, okay, maybe, maybe there is something going on here, because it wouldn't be the first time that Wizards of the Coast was at the core of generative AI drama. They've been caught twice before that I am aware of. One was back in January of this year. There was like a promo image they put out that had some magic cards like set in a setting. Hey, you've got look at you being prepared. Yeah, so this is a promotional image that was showing off some new magic cards within an illustration itself, like within a setting. And folks did the same thing. The tweets went out where people were drawing on it with red markers and kind of explaining what sections, why they look suspect. And it turned out, yes, the artist admitted that they did use generative AI to create this piece. And then last year, I believe in August of last year, generative AI was found to have been used in at least one piece that I'm aware of, in the Glory of the Giants book, which I think is like a D&D supplemental. I'm not deep into D&D, so you'd probably know better than me on that one.
Interesting. No, well, I have not been into D&D for a little bit for my own reasons.
Yeah, well, I mean, Wizards of the Coast, not exactly everybody's favorite purveyor of games. The last few years, they've had a tough go, mostly of their own making. But as far as I understand, both of these controversies involving generative AI in the D&D example and the previous Magic the Gathering example, the artists used it without informing Wizards of the Coast, were then caught and then admitted to using generative AI, because Wizards has put out guidelines saying that they have instructed the artists that they contract with to not use generative AI. But I mean, they are contract artists. It could happen. So it's not a 100% foolproof system, because it's a bit of a honor code, unless caught.
Right.
But that is kind of the case for anything. Because it exists, it is now at risk of being used anywhere.
Yes, as opposed to taking pictures of yourself and your friends and animating those. I mean, I can think of years ago when Magic the Gathering cards would come out, and I'm like, that's totally your friend, bro. Because it's not like stylized. That's a person's face right there. That is 100% a picture that you painted over in Photoshop. But that was their face, their friend's face. They got a right to use that face. It was approved. It was not. It's a crazy thing. Let me just share like my earth-shattering moment. Like, to me, this is on par with being like, it's not actually Pluto. There's a guy in that suit. Like, it was kind of mind-blowing. I was going through the D&D book, and I was like, man, why do they got to put such bad art in here sometimes? And my artist buddy, who we're both good friends with, was like, yep, no, that's a great artist. They weren't given enough time. What? What do you mean? How could a great artist do bad art? That's ridiculous. Just like anything, like a school paper, like painting your house, like making dinner. The more time you spend on it, the better
like
it's going to look.
Engineering airplanes for Boeing.
Maybe topical. I don't know actually that one you're referencing, but
you want a dark rabbit hole, my friend.
It kind of blew my mind. Now, this was years and years ago. This was probably 2017 would be my guess. So I think collectively, outside of documentaries, like the internet was really starting to like figure out how video games are made and how art exists. And we had art stations and creators inside of a company starting to share their art directly with us. And we were start names and faces to certain projects. And Here's the Storm, when I was following that game, was really good at this. If you were on the Reddit, if you were following, You knew exactly who animated those animations, who built the skeleton for it, who did this voice effects, and you could really kind of map all the human beings it took to create something. And it was absolutely wild. So
Yeah.
my initial
The-
reaction to seeing this here post is fear, because it seems like if you don't get your fanboyisms exactly right, if you don't perfectly execute on everything that the audience considers a reference, you will be taken down for using AI.
that was the angry reaction I had, because I by no means a prolific contract illustrator, but I've had enough experience in this world. I've done contract graphic design work for the Alderac Entertainment Group. They do tabletop games. And then you and I have mutual friends who have done a lot of work for Fantasy Flight and some work for Wizards in the past as contract illustrators. So I immediately was just like, oh, come on, let's calm the shit down real fast, everybody. But since then, I think what we're really dealing with is um, a lot of people being introduced to this world for the first time, and I'm having a angry reaction because it's something I am very, very aware of and close to. And so it was, I probably should have had a calmer reaction. But the point still stands is that, yeah, I share your fear that if for crossover stuff like this, that if you don't get like character details 100% right, you're now everyone's going to be accused of using generative AI, which a lot of cases is, and it seems like in this case, again, that's the other point that a lot of the folks that don't want to let this go are still banding about, which is there's no 100% way to be sure. There are tools out there that you can run art through where it will give you like a percentage chance that generative AI was used. Some are more trusted than others. But my big thought about all of this is that the world of contract illustrators, while there are new folks getting contracts every day, the vast majority, especially within the confines of Wizards of the Coast, a lot of them are well known. They have a history. They are easily Googleable. A lot of them even have accounts on, in this case, Twitter, which was the website that was being used to throw these accusations around. It would have taken a minute to go find this artist's portfolio website. Would have taken a few minutes to scroll through their Twitter or run a search and see if anyone else, any reputable individuals within this industry were commenting on it, which I'm now leading to the point where I think there's a wonderful thread that if you want to go deeper into this and kind of how to assess it and how illustrators self-police, there's a wonderful thread by an artist, Carla Ortiz, a prolific illustrator, concept artist, has done a ton of work for Wizards of the Coast in the past, analyzing this exact claim, the claim of the Sephiroth art potentially using generative AI. And it turns out it's a well-known illustrator that's doing it, that has no past history of doing generative AI work. So that was the kind of thing where that made me want to get preachy.
and have you succeeded?
I got a lot off my chest over the weekend.
But yeah, I mean, honestly, we saw a lot of it in our chat, like leading up to this conversation was what a cool piece of art. Shame it's AI generated. Like we saw that constantly in the chat there. So I am interested to hear those who said that earlier, if this did anything or if this is still kind of a concern in your eyes, because
I think it's absolutely still a concern because I mean,
but this particular art piece.
This particular art piece, I think we're good. I think we're in the clear. The person who posted it privated their account. I hope it's not because they're getting harassed. Unfortunately, I bet it is because they're getting harassed, which I don't think they should be. I also believe two things. I believe they shouldn't have made these claims, and I believe they should not be harassed because they in my eyes, jumped the gun.
I mean, they drew
Like,
Sephiroth.
fine.
That was their first problem. Like
But, oh no, I'm talking about the poster who claimed that it was AI, not the artist.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because that was just going to be a bag of weasels in the first place. There's no way you could draw that guy, right? Because he was made. It's something I call mental graphics. He was made in bad graphics.
His costume has changed.
You can never do it right. Tomb Raider was way sexier because you imagine Tomb Raider as a person on top of those graphics. And then when they said, oh, this is what she looks like in real life, you're going to be like, not my Tomb Raider. Well, no shit, because she looked like shit. No wonder. How could this happen? How bizarre.
Yeah. So, no, I mean, there's some, it's a morass. There's some great points being brought up, and a lot of the conversations being had, I think, are good ones overall. I just really, God, I just hope. What I don't want to happen is, as you mentioned, I share your fear. I don't want everyone who gets a few details incorrect on like a costume of known IP to suddenly be the target of what I want to call an AI witch hunt, which you really only know with the benefit of hindsight. Because if it's a witch hunt and you're right, it's not a witch hunt.
Massive points is the detriment equal to the success you will have on the other side. Can you just call everything AI, and the battles you win will make you more successful as you go? I mean, that goes for any topic. I saw one this weekend that was like, I really hope they take the time to fix Emmett's gloves. They don't have an arrow on them.
That was another one I saw. And that's the kind of thing where, sorry, you were.
Oh, and then I was just like, I can't meet you that deep. I'm afraid. Like, then I try to think of my, like, where would I care that particular? And I know I have these because they redesigned the Tarrasque every damn expansion.
Yeah, I'm that way about the lenses in Darth Vader's helmet.
Okay, yeah, they got to get that right
red
for you.
They're red in A New Hope, and they are, I believe, technically green, but they basically appear black in Empire and Return. And it drives me bananas that at the end of Revenge of the Sith, when Anakin gets the suit, that he has black lenses and not red, because he's heading into A New Hope where Vader has red lenses. That drives me nuts. But it also kind of gets to the point I wanted to make here about accuracy in artistic interpretations of intellectual property. We know as Star Wars nerds, Darth Vader should have red lenses at the end of Revenge of the Sith. George Lucas, the creator of Star Wars, didn't give a shit. The guy who created it didn't care enough. Just didn't care. Didn't think it was that important. Moved on with his life. And that happens constantly at every stop along the approval process in freelance art. And there's a lot of different checks and balances that you can put in place if the people whose pay grade is high enough to put those in place care. It's usually not actually the artist's job. If you're lucky, they're big enough fans that they're going to pay that close enough attention to detail. If we even put value there, I would say getting costumes like 100% detail accurate is, I don't actually put a lot of value in that for artistic interpretations. If you're doing a movie, I do care about continuity. I would like the costume to look the same from shot to shot, but not in artistic interpretation. Because when it comes to painting, when it comes to drawing, when it comes to any sort of artistic rendition, I like impressionism. I like letting the medium actually kind of show through. I don't like, if you want a hyper realistic, you might as well take a photograph or do a 3D render. If you're going to get someone who is an illustrator to do something in a medium, be it traditional or digital, I like it to look like art, which means some of it is going to be, parts are going to be more rendered than others, and you lose detail in some places and you gain details in others. And a lot of times that is done with intent to pull the eye to a certain part of the actual finished piece. I really enjoy that type of stuff. So, but if you do really, like, if you think all art that is based on intellectual property should be 100% accurate, that's fair, that's valid. That's not where I fall. But a lot of times it also isn't really on the contracted artist to do that. You might get lucky, like I said. and they're massive nerds and they're going to get everything totally right. But if at the end of the day, Wizards doesn't know enough or isn't concerned enough to check those things, it's not going to happen. If Square Enix, who is also signing off on getting in bed with Wizards of the Coast to do this type of crossover, also isn't requiring some sort of approval process, or maybe even they are, but also then they're not catching this kind of stuff, then it also isn't going to happen. So there's all those, and then there's that time factor as well, which we already talked about.
Which I think is a huge factor.
All those stops along the way.
Also, random bullshit go factor of like how hard digital artists work to add in painter-like qualities to their digital art to make sure it's not anything but smooth brushes. Like the random like throw the scroll. It's like, Price is Right. They just grab their scroll wheel and through their thousands of brushes just to be like, and a leaf here and a random building brush here. And I'll add this in the background. And then this is like swoosh, so that as an audience that it was a painting, like how much they worked before AI art to make that be a thing. And then to view this in that lens of like, and now you have to like, you're going to go in here and be like, oh man, maybe my leather's too reflective. I need to like make it bad on purpose so that everyone knows it's a painting. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
Yeah. So it's wild. There's a small portion of my art brain opened wide, everybody. I hope you enjoyed. I think this shit looks rad. I really like that Emmett art. I do not care that he doesn't have arrows on his gloves. Also, they screwed up the his medal on the left side. I'm not gonna say screwed up. It's visually inaccurate, Kyle.
His like collection of medals, his war.
Yes.
Awards.
It's visually inaccurate. It is not a perfectly symmetrical medal, and it is perfectly symmetrical in that illustration.
Oh, I see. But this is how
the three final danglies at the bottom. There's like a lower hanging one, and then there's two smaller ones left and right flanking each other. There's only one of the smaller ones in the game itself.
I don't even think like that. I just think like, oh man, this is how he would look if he was a 14/14 hex pay 8 life counterspell on flip card. Because he's got to live and breathe in his own new world in this style. He's embracing it. I really can't speak to Sephiroth. The most experience I
think it looks awesome. It's the classic Sephiroth pose. It's painted beautifully here.
Most experience I have is probably that night at the barcade where we fought him a bunch. I think,
Sephiroth in Super Smash Brothers can kick rocks.
Yeah, he was super OP, in my opinion.
And Darkman, you must return to Florida so that I can eventually kick your Sephiroth's ass. I need all the rematches until I actually beat you. That's how many it needs. I don't care how many wins you rack up in the meantime.